Hi there and welcome to my channel. This project is for the Altenew July 2019 blog hub as they are releasing a new set of stamps, dies, stencils, and a new stamping mat. All gorgeous. The project you're gonna see, it features the Bright Blossom stamp set, and what I want to create with it is a layout for my little life crafted album. This album is from Citrus Twist Kits and it's the size of a traveler's notebook. So all I'm showing you right now is the little card that comes inside the stamp set, and this is a really basic flower. It actually matches one of the paper pads that Altenew released a couple months ago. So you're gonna see that I'm gonna start by placing my stamping mat, which I love. I'm in love with this tool. It's a must-have in your tool set or your stash because you're gonna use it. Trust me, you're gonna use it. And the first thing I'm gonna do is I did not get the masking or the stencils for this, so I'm gonna create my own stencil. For this, I am using post-it notes, and I'm using two of them. So I have two of them together, and all I'm gonna do is just gonna stamp all the images, the full images onto them, and then I'm gonna fussy cut them. I'm gonna say that I'm gonna need at least two of each ones because I am gonna use quite a bit of masking to create my layout. This is a complete border for where for the left hand side of my layout. So once I have everything stamped, like I said, I'm gonna take it off camera and just gonna fussy cut really close to the outline of each one of the shapes. So I'm just gonna take it, like I said, I'm gonna go off camera and finish fussy cutting this. Now, outside of the camera, I also printed my lines of journal onto a piece of vellum using my computer. And now I am going to use a combination of pink and yellow to create this layer. So I'm going to start, and since I'm just using white cardstock for this, I'm going to start by stamping corner flowers. So I'm going to create little, my idea is to create an entire frame of flowers, and I'm going to start with creating a corner. So for that, I'm going to use the bigger flower, and I'm going to stamp it in sets of three. So I'm going to stamp a yellow and two of the pink flowers on the side, or I'm going to alternate to a pink flower in the middle and then two yellow ones. So I'm going to do this to each one of the corners of the page, and I am using Sunray and Chamomile for the yellow and Blush and Rouge for the pink, and I'm going to use the Frayed Leaf and Forest Glades for the leaves. So it's going to be a very colorful background. So like I said, right now, all I'm going to do is just going to start stamping just the corner. So I'm going to kind of work in I worked, I'm going to say very methodical to build this. So once I have all the corners stamped, so I'm going to show you a little bit of what I did, and I'm going to take it off camera and finish the corners. I'm going to say that I was very careful how I placed my masks, and you're going to see that in some areas I do have a little bit of white spaces because the mask moved a little bit, but overall it was really easy to build. So now that I have all my four corners, I also added the centers because I have the space. Now I'm gonna go and just add the little pistils, and that's the little centers of the flowers. And for that, I am using Marigold, which is one of the inks that comes in the Warm Sunset mini cube set, which is what I'm using for this. And then I'm gonna just once I have that all stamped, I'm gonna go ahead and kind of continue building the flower part of this layer. So you're gonna see that now that I have them, I'm gonna go to I'm gonna say a smaller flower. And for that, all I'm doing is just kind of elongating, especially the center clusters. I wanna kind of join them to the corner. So for that, I'm just gonna use some of the flowers. And again, I'm one of the reasons why I stamped two of the flowers, because I knew that it's gonna help me with some of the leaves and also to stretch, and I can do everything at once instead of placing one mask and then having to move it. This way I can quickly stamp them. And because I'm gonna say, because the way I stamped it, I have to use the same color on the flowers. So all you're gonna see me do is I'm just adding those little extra flowers, and that's just elongating my little clusters. Now I'm gonna start adding the leaves, and for that, like I said, I am using Frayed Leaf and Forest Glades. And all I'm gonna do is pretty much the first thing I'm gonna do is add a backing. So with the leaves, I'm just gonna pretty much fill the edges of the corner, of the page So I'm just going to be careful when I stamp those leaves, and it's just going to show a little bit of the leaf, and I'm okay with that. Like I said, I just want to make sure that my corners are full of color, so that's going to add to the definition of this page. After that, I'm just going to mask the flower, so just to make sure that I don't, combine the colors and muddle it, I want to have the definition. So once I have that, like all, I'm going to say the leaf, I'm going to go in and just kind of stamp the veins, and I'm going to keep my mask in place so that the veins, like, don't damage the flower. And I'm continue working that way until I feel all the, I, I stamped, sorry, not feel, I stamped all the leaves that go behind the cluster. Now that I have that in place, I'm gonna again mask the small flower and then start building some of those little leaves that have the movement. So kind of like an S shape. And I just want that, so it creates a little bit of movement and it brings your eye towards the center of the layout. So again, I'm always thinking like, where do I want your eye to be guided? And I think just to create movement on this layer, I need to add some of those curved leaves. So for this, I am gonna make sure that when I mask the flowers, I mask everything that is surrounding. So you're gonna see that I'm gonna mask the big flower and then the small flower, and then I'm kind of tucking the leaf in between it, making sure that it adds to the movement and it points to the center. And I'm just gonna take it off camera and keep working on it. Once I have that in place, I have those little spaces in between some of the clusters. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add those little kind of, it looks like little bell flowers. And I'm just gonna, again, I'm gonna do the two-step, and this is a really simple flower to stamp, which makes it really easy to work with and super versatile. So all I'm gonna do is, like I said, fill in the spaces with the flowers, again, mask them and add a few more leaves just to, like, to bring, like I said, to complete the frame. My idea was just to create an entire frame of stamped flowers for this layout, because I am gonna add, remember, my landscape journal already have printed on vellum. It's gonna be very transparent and you're gonna be able to see the entire frame. So again, I think I take it off camera and just to finish this, and you're gonna see that wherever I have those little spaces, I make sure to add either a leaf, like I said, more movement, or a small flower. I just and once I'm done with all that, I'm gonna set it aside to dry for a little bit, just to make sure the ink sets before I continue on. And this is the piece of vellum that has my journal. I have left a little extra, or a larger piece of a margin at the bottom, because that's where I'm going to stamp my title. And for this, I'm going to use the Black Obsidian ink from Altenew and the sentiment from the same Bright Blossom stamp set. And this is a sentiment that says, "Let your light shine." And this is pretty much what I'm going to stamp, because all I'm talking about is my daughter's love for Bible study lately. So happy with that. Now to attach the vellum onto the page, first of all, I'm just going to add a little drop of glue, and literally I'm adding just a little drop of glue, because vellum is very sensitive to liquid. So just a little drop is going to do the trick. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to attach it with a brad. And I had a brad in my stash that had pretty much the same colors, had a yellow flower on it. So I'm going to take advantage of that just to tuck it at the top, and that's it. That's ready, and I'm just going to add it into my album. I don't want to add anything else to that, because I don't want to take it away. I think the frame is bringing a lot of color and interest to the page, and you know what? Everything looks really nice. Now to build my other side of the layer where the picture is going to be placed, I didn't want to go with the same motif, like, to create an entire frame. Instead, I am going to only frame the picture. First of all, I am using a large tag. I want to have some variety. I just want to have the square, idea. So I'm going to add a tag. And what I'm going to do is I use somebody put the picture, and I created the two lines just to mark the edges of the picture. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create large clusters of flowers. So think of it like I'm just going to frame that flower. So for this, again, I am going to use the same technique that I used before and stamp the center flower first, and then the side flowers. And again, I'm going to go the combination of yellow and pink. And if I stamp pink in the center, then the next one, the side ones are going to be yellow, and vice versa. So you're going to see that once I have the center stamp, I'm going to use the little mask that I created, and then stamp the next flower. and so on. Once I have this, it's a set of three at the top and a set of three at the bottom. Once I have those in place, I'm gonna bring in the leaves and just pretty much stamp the leaves. But when I stamp the leaves in this case, I am gonna make sure that the leaves kind of create like a little crown around it. Like I said, I want to frame the picture. And like, remember on the other side of the layout, I just added the leaves so that it pointed to the center, and just make sure that it covered the edges of the layout. On this case, I want with the leaves kind of create a crown. So I'm gonna make sure that when I glue my little masks, uh, they are really forming the flower, because the way I want to add my leaves is so that they're surrounding the flowers completely. Like I said, think of it as a crown. And once I have that in place, I'm just gonna go ahead and glue the picture. I added a piece of vellum behind the picture just to make sure there's a little bit of separation between the background and the picture. And after that, I'm just gonna add a few embellishments. I added this little heart and a few clear stickers from my stash because I didn't want to take away from the stamp. I think the stamp is the star of this layout and the story, and I love how this turned out. It was a little bit of time consuming just because I had to mask every single time, every single area, but I love the results, and it was super easy to build once I had. The key here is to create two or three masks so you speed up your process. And I hope you try it. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact me. I would love to help you. Don't forget to jump into my blog so you have a chance to participate in the hop and win some gift certificates and also be inspired by so many projects created. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you very, very soon. Take care, guys.